wave and just did that backflip, and that kind of secured stuff for Jonesy. So pretty interesting stuff there for the first heat of the day.
Well, Jones Russell right off the bat came out charging, and I don't think he ever looked back. But there you have it. So Jones Russell is going to meet up with the winner of this next quarterfinal in semifinal number 1. Paddling out, already out in the water actually, is Dave Winchester and Eder Luciano. There is Mike Stewart. More autographs, more photos. This guy, I think, has signed more autographs than everybody combined.
Yeah, it was funny when he signed for his prize money this morning. He came down, collected his cash off me, and I said, I'll get a signature for the receipt. And he just did this infamous little MS kind of squiggle. And I said, you've done that a few times, haven't you?
Exactly. So Stewart will be up here for the semifinals and finals of the men's division. We got Cesar Bauer. He's going to sit in the hot seat during the drop knee finals. And we will try to track down Neymara Carvalho from Brazil to sit in the hot seat for the women's final. So a lot of action still in store. We are here at Praia Grande in Portugal for the Sintra Portugal Pro. Currently out in the water in the yellow jersey. That is Dave Winchester taking a look at this one.
Yeah, well, here goes Winnie. He wants to take the pressure off, goes into a carousel of spins to open up. Nice little reverse. Once again, just mixing it up. Look at the spray coming off those turns. I mean, he knows how to displace some water and just gets a series of spins. He's looking for a little something on the inside here. And there it is, punches off a nicer one. That's just a nice way to open up your heat and settle the nerves. Dave will try and push that one through as far as humanly possible. You can see him just getting right up on the front of the board, but he just couldn't get that last manoeuvre in. Nonetheless, first priority goes back to Eder Luciano, and scores for first of yellow will be forthcoming.
It's just amazing to see all these guys in these rounds. 2 weeks ago, they were out in 8, 10-foot, 12-foot heavy beach breaks in Porto Escondido, and now they just got to switch 180 degrees, switch gears, and throw down in 2 to 3-foot waves. And it's amazing to see. I mean, these guys can draw the most perfect lines on 8-foot dredging beach breaks and turn around and just do spins all the way to the beach, find a section, do a roll, perfect combination move. I won't be surprised if this is in the 6 or 7 point score, but we will see what the judges have to say.
Yeah, they've got to be careful, Manny, I guess, with this much talent in the water. The first wave of the heat's always really critical because if you set the scale too high, you box yourself in at the other end. Someone might do something ridiculous that's twice as good, and then you can't give them a 14. So, they're pretty wary of this sort of stuff. And, no scores have come through so far on the ride scoring system on our iPad here. There's Jones and Jeff on screen at the moment. And, we'll try and get a bit of a chat to Jeff a little later on. But his golden run is finished here in Sintra. And I guess that opens the way for the other guys. Let's see what, Jones is going to do. I mean, he's got himself into the semi-finals. It's going to be awesome to watch. Coming up later today, of course, we're going to see the women's final. That will feature, of course, Mia Inui from Japan. She is the current defending champion here at Sintra, and she'll take on Spain's Yunata Gia in what will be a very entertaining clash. That one, of course, in the DK final, we're going to see Dave Winchester taking on Aidan Cleave from South Africa. So they're our finalists in the DK and women's.
So we need to find out if there's a way I can get in on the drop knee competition. I'm looking at these guys, and every time I watch them competing, I want to get out there.
Well, Manny, I saw you when we went at La Punta when we were in Mexico. You were still moving a bit of water butter and getting all the sets there. Sneaky guy.
Hey, man, I love that wave.
Yeah. Well, you got the skills, mate. You should be throwing your name in the hat there, and we'd love to see. I'm sure the guys watching the webcast would love to see you out there with a singlet on.
All right, if you're watching, you want to see some MV DK action, throw it on the Facebook. We'll see what people have to say. Everybody, my name's Manny V with Terry McKenna. This is the Sintra Portugal Pro, stop number 5 on the IBA World Tour Grand Slam Series, and the Grand Slam Series and the Grand Qualifying Series. If somebody, a kid who just absolutely rips in his hometown, he wants to compete with these guys, what are the steps?
Okay, so really I guess there's a 3-part scenario to getting yourself a GQS rating. That's on the Global Qualifying Series. So what you do is step number 1 is you go on your national tour and you place as highly as you can in the end of year rankings. That's worth 1,000 points to the winner. Then there's two more parts to go. The first part is your best result in a Grand Slam trials, like we've had here at Sintra. If you win the trials, you get 2,000 points, and we saw those 2,000 points this time around go to South Africa's Adam Morley. And the third part of the trilogy is, of course, the standalone GQS events. And we have one of those, a 6-star, that's worth 2,000 points. That's coming up next week, of course, at Ferrol. So, I'd say that, of course, Adam Morley will head off there. He came second on the Sabre Tour. He's got the 2,000 points to win in the trials. If he can get a good result at Ferrol, I tell you what, Manny V, we're going to see Adam Morley on next year's GSS. So that's it, kids. It's pretty easy. It's designed, I suppose, to be as user-friendly and as cheap as possible. I mean, most of the continents have got a GSS and a GQS on home turf. It means you might have to travel once or twice throughout the year, but we didn't want to design a system where people had to follow around a whole circuit of qualifying events. We wanted to make something a bit more user-friendly and tie it back to the national tours to get the good surfers competing back on home turf.
Well, there you have it, step by step, and we will put that on the IBAWorldTour.com just to make sure everybody has a clear view on how to get on the Grand Slam Series, because 2012, I'm excited. I'm sure it's going to be off the chains, and it's going to be insane to see the new guys on the bottom 8 of the top 24 coming in and mixing it up a little bit. So it's going to be exciting.
Going to be insane, mate. So make sure you stick around. We do have first wave scores through. 6.75 for Eder Luciano and a 6.5. There is nothing between these two guys on the first wave exchange. In fact, a 0.25 just separating both surfers. Big shout out to Kent Mullins, who's watching. He's loving this. He's saying, "Bring the heat on, Winnie." We got Matty Tisley is watching, doing a shout out from Jonesy, from Matt and all the Tassie boys. And it looks like Todd Burke back online, loving Jonesy's and doing Jonesy's result, and doing Breakwall proud. So keep your messages coming. Did notice there's also a message in there from my beautiful girlfriend Felicity Anscombe. So g'day, babe. Missing you. Can't wait to see you in the next week.
We're almost done. One more day of live broadcasting here in Sintra's very own Praia Grande, and it's been an exciting week.
Been an awesome week. I always love coming here. This is my 5th year in Sintra. Came here in 2006, I think it was, and for the first time with Derek Hume. And Derek showed me the ropes, introduced me to Roman and Rui, and Johnny, the guy who runs around. He's a busy little man, that guy, and that really professional team here. Thank you very much to Guilherme, of course, as the president of the Portuguese Surfing Federation. They put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money into this contest. And I'd say that as far as structure and organisation goes, this is the yardstick for the rest of the tour.
Yeah, top notch. I mean, they have it down here, and this guy up and riding in red. What's he going to do? He comes around that section, knows he's not going to make it all the way around, so he kicks out Eder Luciano, losing priority. Now in yellow, Dave Winchester has priority. So Eder Luciano in the red jersey currently has a 6.75 and a 1.25. Those two combined scores gives him an 8.0 combined score. Now, Dave Winchester only has one wave, a 6.5. He only needs a second wave of a 1.51 to take that first place spot. Again, these are 25-minute heats.
That's right, yep.
25-minute heats. Top 2 waves will be scored, and each rider will have a 12-wave maximum. We just started in this heat, heat number 34, which is our second quarterfinal. 21 minutes to go.
All right, actually, I stand corrected. They're 30-minute quarters, they're 25-minute semis, and a 30-minute final. It was mainly just due to the fact that we wanted, so crucial quarterfinals. We wanted to give the guys in the quarters a little bit more time. The main reason is because it was getting so slow on the top of the tide. So gave those, the guys, 8 guys remaining in this round, a little bit more time to find those waves out there. We're going to see that tide roll out this afternoon, folks. Conditions will improve a little bit, and we're going to see some amazing bodyboarding, so make sure that you guys stick around.
Yeah, we've been pretty much seeing a little bit of consistency here. It glasses off, middle of the day. Wind does pick up, the tide drops, so it stays, it stays contestable. When the tide drops, it hits the sandbars that have been created in the last few days during the swell, and it starts barreling. The riders have now something to hit, a lip to hit, to do the roll the lip maneuvers like the roll, the air roll spin, and the backflip. So definitely contestable conditions. So if you guys are watching from Brazil or if you're watching from Australia, give us a shout out and let us know who you are going for. Obviously, I'm sure the Brazilians will go for Eder Luciano, currently out in the water in the red jersey, and the Aussies might give us a shout out for Winnie.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people online. In fact, we got Murray Bell and Connor and a bunch of other people. Joel Hennessy's back there saying, go Winnie. Also got a message in there from Rhonda Rawlins. Oh, no, looks like the Rabbitohs lost last night. That's terrible news. that must be from Mitch. So it's come from Rhonda's address, his mum. And also Angel Cabiza online saying, hi, Terry and Manny. He said he can't quit his eyes from the screen. Good job and good luck for the whole day. And he's going to see us in reunion. Of course, he's part of the production team as we see once again this rider in red, Eder Luciano. Have a look at the skills on this kid. Watch the technique and have a look at the high line that he tends to draw. I mean, this is a fat one, so you're not going to really be able to see. In fact, he does his best on that little section there, but it's really starting to slow down out there, Manny Vargas, as we reach the top of the tide here at Praia Grande.
Eder Luciano coming to us from Brazil. Eder, I sat down with him earlier today. I'm like, Eder, are you ready for this? You have Dave Winchester in your heat. What are you going to do? I'm quoting him on this. I am ready for these conditions. I train in these conditions in Brazil all the time. So if anybody can pull off a win here today, Eder Luciano could be that man.
Well, he's up against pretty tough opposition, of course, with Dave Winchester winning in second spot. And, well, that last wave score for Eder comes through at a 4-point average, folks. So that did extend his lead over Dave Winchester, who's now chasing a 4.26 to take first place. It looks like the yellow flag is up. Priority marshals onto it, so first priority with Dave Winchester, but second position with the Aussie, and we are down to 17 and a half minutes remaining. Well, it's quarterfinal number 2, Manny, but next one is shaping up pretty amazing, mate. Who we got coming up next?
Oh, no, another hardcore competitor, Udi Valadao, a backflip master. He's coming up in the red jersey. He will be going against another backflip aerialist, Mark McCarthy from South Africa. That's going to be a sight to see, so don't go anywhere. Hawaii, it is 2 a.m. in the morning in Hawaii. Everybody's just falling asleep or just waking up, depending on who you are. But Jeff Hubbard's wife, Heather, did wake up to watch her hubby compete here today. And unfortunately, Jeff didn't make it. But Jeff, if you're watching, your wife says she loves you and she's proud of you, and so are your dogs.
Well, there you go. Well, look at the boys sitting side by side. I mean, you can throw a blanket over them. It just looks like a little handful of Skittles out there in the lineup. As Eder Luciano in the red singlet holding a slender lead over Dave Winchester from Australia. Dave at the moment needing a 4.26 to take the lead. There is nothing in this thing down under in Australia. Around about 10:30 on a Sunday night. Got a massive audience watching. And keep those comments coming, you guys, and we'll do our best to read them out. Of course, the Houstons watching once again from South Africa, and they're just doing a bit of shout-out for Aidan Clee for the DK final and for Mark McCarthy for the rest of the comp. I said that you guys are doing us proud in South Africa, so g'day to the Houstons. And as we said the other day, they must be pretty proud parents because Jared is a very fine young man with some incredible skills.
Where are we at right now? Currently in the water. This is the second quarterfinal going down in the water. Eder Luciano in red and Dave Winchester in yellow.
Yeah, well, you can see the guys waiting there. It's really starting to slow down here at Sintra, folks. It looks like Mother Nature dished up the good stuff for us on Friday, and that swell has probably faded a little bit earlier than we would have liked. I thought we were really going to have 3-footers here today. It started off 2 to 3 feet, but that incoming tide has really slowed stuff down. Got some fat and inconsistent 2-footers coming through for this current one. We're just on 15 and a half to go.
We had to bring in the satellite truck today to make sure we give you the live feed with no interruptions here on IBAWorldTour.com and on Red Bull TV. So thank you guys for tuning in. Manny V with Terry McKenna coming to you live from Praia Grande here in Sintra, Portugal. We've been fortunate enough to have sunny days throughout the entire event, and we did have some good waves come in. to Praia Grande in the last couple days. Now the swell did drop a little bit, but still, contest is still going on. These guys are putting everything on the line.
Yeah, that's right, Manny. And right now we are going to cross down live to Shaggy Cam, where we've got Shaggy having a bit of a talk to the winner of the previous heat, Jones Russell from Port Macquarie. Take it away, Shaggy.
Thanks, Manny. I'm here with Jones Russell, winner of the previous heat. Jones, congratulations, mate, in the semis. Beat Jeff Hubbard. How did it feel?
Thanks, Shaggy. Yeah, I'm so stoked. I kind of went in the heat not expecting too much, just to go out there and do my thing, and it paid off. I beat him. I'm stoked as.
Yeah, you locked in both your scoring waves within 6 minutes of the heat, and then you played the waiting game. How stressful was that?
Yeah, at the start of the heat, I just wanted to get 2 good waves because the tide's coming up, so I just tried to get a couple at the start, and I got some good ones, got a good one, and then I just kind of waited, and it felt like 2 hours out there. Pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah, well, congratulations. Any shout-outs to the breakball crew?
Yeah, of course. I hope they're all watching. Just like to thank them all for coming, and I'll just drop a little west side for them. A little breakball, and just everyone from home is watching. It's good. Stoked.
Cool. Thanks, Jonesy. Back to you, Manny.
Thank you.
Sweet. Another solid interview from Shaggy. Shaggy is he's a professional bodyboarders liaison and consult to the social scene, and you know what? He is definitely somebody good to have on our team. So Shaggy, another great interview.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a real character, Shaggy, and he's been, cruising around with the gang and penning out some cool stuff for the guys at Movement Magazine. So a bit of journalistic experience. He's got a good background in sport, and he knows what's going on. Right now, though, I'll tell you what's going on right there at home, folks. We are down to 13 minutes remaining in quarterfinal number 2 here at the Sintra Portugal Pro. At the moment, it is the lanky lad from Brazil, Eder Luciano. He opened up with a 6.75, backed it up with a 4.0. He's in front of Dave Winchester, who opened up with a 6.5 himself, got a nice little combo right the way through to shore. Dave just sitting around, wishing, waiting for something to come. Does look like there's some little lines coming through out the back, and this will be interesting to see as Eder Luciano, with second priority, said, give me this thing, and let's see what this guy can do with this one, Manny V, as he sums up his options and says, no, thank you. Look, where these guys are sitting at the moment, I do believe that there are some other options here at the beach. I mean, the tides here are very extreme. In fact, a high tide is 3-point-something meters, and low tide's just over 0. So, I mean, it's a crazy, variance between high and low tide. As a result, it's very fat out there at the moment, and it's not even big enough to bruise your grandmother.
How do I follow up on that, man? That's a tough one. But yes, the tide is definitely making it tougher out there. You just got to wait for the bigger waves. Here's Dave Winchester in the yellow jersey, stalling, looking for a lip section, finds it. Full power roll right there, just punches through the lip. All these moves right now, because of the tide, because of the conditions, are all power moves. So they got to dig deep into the water to be able to help them pull around the rolls, pull around the spins, and that was a good showing right there from Dave Winchester.
Yeah, well, Winnie's got a bit of a nose for a pocket. He knows how to surf in the zone and very much surfs to the criteria a lot of the time. There's the next heat coming up, of course. It's going to be a great heat. Yuri Valadeo, former world champion from 2008, will take on the informed South African, of course, Mark McCarthy. That is quarterfinal number 3. Mark needs to go on with this contest to try and keep in touch with the top guys. He made the quarterfinals and the semis on a regular basis this year. He's just looking to break through with his first big win of 2011. Yuri, of course, needs to win this contest to have a chance at the world title. Also looking to solidify his position in the top 16. As far as heads-to-heads go, it's Yuri leads Mark McCarthy 3-2.
Nice. Well, here's another quick look at the current standings in the water. In the yellow jersey, Dave Winchester now is in first place with a total combined score of 11.75. And Eder Luciano now looking for a 5.0 for that first place spot.
Yeah, that's right. There was a situation change, folks. That last of yellow did come through at a 5.25 average. So now it's back to the Australian who takes the lead, Dave Winchester. Aussies should be just pretty stoked about that one down under. And Eder Luciano, the boy from Brazil, now chasing a 5.0 to go back into the lead. Got a bunch of guys online, including our friend, of course, Steve Action Jackson from
Yeah, Jackson.
Yeah, guy. We're missing you, bro. Good morning. He said, greetings from a windblown and flooded NJ. Keep up the good work, Manny and Tezza. You.
Here we go, up and riding right now in red. Nice move right there on the outside. One of the bigger moves that we've seen in this heat so far, Eder Luciano.
Well, have a look at the power of this kid, and as we said, the length of this guy does not seem to bother him at all. He goes right into prone mode, and unfortunately, it's just too fat on the inside. But I guess we might even. There's a couple of his fans, of course, the Brazilians just cheering on, and just a.
I believe these are the lovely Portuguese ladies that are behind Eder Luciano on this heat right here. So, Eder Luciano, nice wave right there, waiting for that score to drop.
Yeah, I can imagine that's going to be a pretty solid one. You've got to be thinking that's going to be close to a 7. That was a pretty big move on the outside section. I'm not too sure we got that one with the replay, but it might be nice if we get a bit of time. In fact, we're going to go back to live action. No, it looks like Winnie has decided to let that one go. Beautiful day here, though, in Portugal, folks. You can see the crew have got the board shorts and bikinis on, and we're going to go to the replay. In fact, here it is, Manny. So you can see Eder just lifting it up, and have a look at the technique of this kid. He just rips it up and around. I mean, this guy's got to be all of 6'4", maybe
huge.
6'5". He's a big lad.
He's a
and
giant.
He probably weighs like 100 kilos, so he is a mammoth man, and that is a big move. In fact, that is a 7.15. I said around a 7. 7.15 from the judges, so Luciano goes back into the lead. Winchester now chasing 7.4, Manny, so we have got a bit of a battle bubbling away under the surface. So, you know, we talked about Eder Luciano before. He's an incredible talent. Here's the profile of this young Brazilian guy, 24 years of age, 189 centimetres. He's only 87 kilos. Well, there you go. He's a bit lighter than I thought. And, you know, he's one of the informed Brazilians. Well, take us through this one, Manny.
All right, Dave Winchester taking a look at this one. Didn't see anything down the line, so he pulls out and heads back out to the lineup. So Dave Winchester, interesting note, for the past 5 years he's been competing here in the Sintra Portugal Pro. He has never fared lower than 9th place. So a good showing. He must like these conditions, or he's actually, you know what, he's got this place wired. Last year he ended up 5th. 2009 he ended up in 9th, and so on. His best showing so far in 2006, 3rd place. This guy right here, Udi Valadao, he is definitely one to watch. He came in 9th last year here in the Sintra Portugal Pro, and as well 9th in 2009. So he's hungry. He won it. He won this event in 2006 and 2005. So Udi Valadao, no stranger to the podium.
No, mate, no. He dominated 2008. You know, it was just a memorable year for Yuri. He did get a little bit of a back injury in 2009. Took a little time off, missed a few contests, slipped down the rankings a little bit. But I tell you what, he's back in fine form. He's looking fitter than ever. There's his opponent, Mark McCarthy from South Africa, and Mark, has been the real standout from South Africa for a number of years now. He's always been, one of the highest guys ranked on tour. You can see Winnie using up priority.
Here we go.
And, he goes straight into spin mode. This little left's going to offer up some little sections. And once again, I said, Winnie, he's got a nose for a pocket. You can see him trying to stall, but this thing is very fat. And, a little disappointing wave there for Dave Winchester, who needed a 7.4. Clearly, that thing's not going to fall. It'll probably be about half that. I reckon he'll probably get about a 3.75 or a 4. So Winnie has handed priority back to Eder Luciano with just on 6 minutes remaining. He's put himself in a tough position.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be a little patient. There's about 6 minutes remaining in this heat. So to get a 7.4 wave that Winchester needs, he's got to be patient. Wave selection is going to be key. Eder Luciano has priority, so is Eder Luciano going to use that priority system in his advantage and sit on Dave Winchester, or will he let Winnie hang out and get the waves that he wants? If Eder is smart, he should stay on Winnie for the next 5 minutes.
Well, let me tell you about the guys in Brazil when it comes to man-on-man surfing. Manny, they are probably the most experienced guys on tour. They use a lot of man-on-man on the Brazilian national tour. They have done for a number of years, probably 10 years now. I mean, we've only just started to introduce man-on-man on our national tour, the Rebel Sport Pro Tour in Australia, a year or two ago. We thought, oh, golly, we better, we just surf in four-man heats all the time. We better give these guys some experience because, these Brazilians are so proficient at it. And, if you don't know how to use it properly, as you mentioned earlier, with Michael Novi, it can be a double-edged sword. You can swing that thing around and end up cutting yourself with it. So, you've got to know how to use priority effectively, and Eder Luciano falls into that category.
So we're going to see what Eder Luciano is going to do in the last 5 minutes remaining with the priority in his pocket. So Dave Winchester in a really tight spot. He needs a high-scoring wave, and he doesn't have priority. 5 minutes to go in quarterfinal number 2.
Yeah, it's going to be really important 5 minutes for Winnie, folks, and it looks like we've got some little lines coming through, so don't go anywhere. Plenty of action coming to you this Super Sunday here at the Sintra Portugal Pro.
If you see us looking over our shoulder, it's because that's where the waves are. We want to keep an eye on the waves and make sure that you don't miss any of the action, as well as we don't want to miss any of the action. So it's going to be a full day of action today, so stay with us. Mark McCarthy coming up next against Uri Valadao. That's going to be a good one. Each one of these man-on-man quarterfinals can definitely be a final, in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, this is going to be very interesting to watch. And then, of course, we're going to wind off the quarters this afternoon with another interesting class. Sheet number 4 of the quarters. We'll see, of course, Jake Stone taking on the defending world champion, Amaury Laverne from Reunion Island. I don't know about you, but it just looked like it kind of kicked up again, that swell. I think it just backed off as we started to sit on the top of the high tide. Quite often does that, as you know, as a surfer, Manny, when you reach the cusp of the tide, it kind of backs off a little.
Check this out. We had a little paddle battle right there, and Eder Luciano using the priority, taking that wave from Dave Winchester, punches through the lip, nice extended roll through that falling wave right there, and here we go. It looks like Dave Winchester stalling for a barrel. Nice roll right there. Comes into the inside, spin, clean, nice, smooth. He likes to do that carving reverse spin right there and goes to a forward right there. So Dave Winchester piecing together a solid wave. Another one. Is it going to be a 7.4? We will wait and see what the judges have to say.
Yeah, we can see Winnie, the body language, summed it all up at the end there. Just probably a little disappointed that he didn't get that connection onto the inside. Sometimes it might only be worth a half a point, but it could be the difference between winning and losing here today. Eder Luciano's wave on the outside. Got to be thinking that it's going to score okay. It was a big move on the outside section. The judges do like to see that sort of stuff. He's got those long arms, and it can make it real obvious to the judges when he extends those rolls that he's kind of projecting a bit more. And that wave for Winnie was a little flat. I mean, nice combos, clean transitions and stuff. But I guess we're looking for the big moves on the outside like Eder did. Be interesting to see the way the judges score this one, but looks like those scores are through. In fact, a 5.25 for Eder Luciano and a 5.9 for Winnie. So they did reward his hard work. I mean, you could see him lifting the work rate on that little wave. Didn't have much to work with, but it did fall into top 2 for Winnie, and he's still in second place, chasing a 7.4.
There we go. There's a look right there.
Just on 2 minutes to go.
We had the scores prior from the last 2 waves to drop, and there you have it, a 5.25 and a 5.9. So Eder Luciano still holding on with less than 2 minutes remaining in this heat. So Eder, can he hold off Dave Winchester? Dave Winchester's still looking for that 7.4. This may be the end of the road for Winnie.
Well, I think he's got his work cut out for him. At 7.4, there's around about 1.5 minutes remaining. So we're going to see Winnie kind of move away.
Whew.
Keep your comments coming on the Facebook page, Manny. What do we got over there, mate? Looking over your shoulder.
Well, we have Rene Xavier, obviously going for Brazil's very own Eder Luciano. Hayden Redding going for Mark McCarthy coming up next. Mark McCarthy definitely has a chance to take a win here in the Sintra Portugal Pro.
Also got a shout out from Adelaide just saying, come on, Winnie, you can do it. Well, I tell you what, Adelaide, around about 45 seconds remaining on the clock here, and you can see on screen in yellow Dave Winchester, in red Eder Luciano. Luciano holding first priority, and got to be thinking that that is going to spell the end of Dave Winchester's campaign here in Sintra.
Wow, so already two of the big hitters dropping out. We saw Jeff Hubbard getting second to Jones Russell in the first quarterfinal, and here's Dave Winchester winding down with less than 30 seconds remaining in this heat. He may hit the end of the road for his competition here in the Sintra Portugal Pro.
All right, well, 10 seconds remaining, and, well, it's Eder who has priority, and he just used that wisely, and a big move on the outside. Eder Luciano going through to the semi-finals here at the Sintra Portugal Pro, and once again, as we said earlier, he is incredible technique, this guy, given the fact that he's, nearly 90 kilos, he's 6'4".
He's a giant.
He's a giant, and he puts that, all of that body to very, very good use. You can see him just proning through the inside, taking that one ashore. There's Dave Winchester. What a good campaign it's been for Dave. Look, a result here in the quarterfinals, not too bad. Equal 5th for Dave Winchester, but clearly disappointed, and that guy clearly elated.
Yes, so Eder Luciano beating out Dave Winchester. Winnie is what the boys call him. So Eder advancing on to semifinal number 1 against Jones Russell. So we're going to see that later on today in the broadcast. Dallas Singer was in the hot seat yesterday and did a great job. We're going to try to get him back in here. If not, he'll be watching, sitting where he is right now from the competitors area. So again, if you're just tuning in, welcome. My name is Manny V with Terry McKenna. We are giving you the live feed live from Praia Grande here in beautiful Sintra, Portugal for the Sintra Portugal Pro, the 5th stop on the IBA World Tour Grand Slam Series. So we're going to say this again and again. We've been very fortunate to have unbelievable waves, heavy waves for the first half of the IBA World Tour Grand Slam Series. But to be a world champion, you got to be able to compete in all conditions. Case in point, these waves here at the Sintra Portugal Pro.
Yeah, well, there's a great little shot of Eder Luciano making his way up the beach. You can see some of the crew there just going up to congratulate him. All the Brazilians just loving it. In fact, Eder was not, of course, down in Mexico. He had a little issue back home that he had to deal with, just a personal thing, and it was a real shame that he couldn't make it because clearly the waves are unreal and he would have ripped down there. But what a great, comeback result that is for him. He's come over here to Sintra and he's got himself a good result here, and he's into the semi-finals. Fantastic stuff there for Eder Luciano. Dave Winchester rocking out at equal 5th here in Portugal. Right now, though, of course, the synopsis for this one, folks. We've got another one of those beach interviews coming up, Manny Vargas. This time round, it is our man Shaggy having a talk to the winner of the previous heat, Eder Luciano.
Shaggy.
Thanks, Manny. I'm here with Eder Luciano from Brazil, the winner of the last heat. Eder, felicidades. ¿Cómo están las condiciones?
The condition is very hard today. It's so fat, the wave now, the set is coming 2 or 3rd set in the hit. But I got 2 good waves, a little more power than the other ones, and do the 2 good RS and take the 7 point and 6 point. And Winnie needed 7 point, and I take the priority and stay relaxed. Just waiting for the set, no more set on the hit. And I'm very happy with this results.
Yeah, you came second here a few years ago. How badly do you want to win this year?
I think I want to win this contest. My first trip to World Tour was here in Europe, in Sintra in 2005. And I like so much here in Portugal, to stay here in Portugal. And I want to win this contest. It's very, very important for me, for the ranking, and for Brazil, for my sponsor, for everybody. I want to win this contest.
Would you like to say anything to everyone in Brazil?
Em português? Yeah. Valeu toda a galera do Brasil aí que tá na torcida. Semifinal já, o Uri também tá mandando benzão na semifinal dele ali. Galera naquela torcida, para os brasileiros aqui, se Deus quiser a gente vai fazer uma final Brasil aqui, mais uma vez. E representar o Brasil, botar o Brasil mais uma vez no lugar mais alto do pódio. Valeu, galera. Continue na torcida aí.
Obrigado. Thank you. Back to you, Manny.
All right, well, I thought Shaggy was going to try his Portuguese translation there, but I just got Brazil out of all of that.
I understood, obrigado. Hey, de nada.
All right, up and riding, taking a look. It is Uri Valadao. Not much there, kicking out of that one.
All right, well, at the moment,